Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you all. Welcome to the call. It's Sunday evening, 10 o'clock in the UK, and it's time for a Wealth Warriors presentation. And if you're confused, I said it was Sunday on the last presentation, which I did on Wednesday. So it's not you that's confused at all, it's me. But then nobody said you had to be clever to do this stuff at all. So yeah, welcome. And we're going to run through a little bit about who Wealth Warriors are, what they are, but predominantly, I really want to, I say this every week, I want to get through that stuff as quickly as possible because I want to get on to some other stuff about strategizing, kind of finish up what we started last week, strategizing using the spreadsheet. Some of you on the call, I went through a session with you guys for your own personal benefit during the week. So I'm going to incorporate some of that. I won't use names and numbers just to protect the guilty, but so you'll have seen some of this before, but hopefully you'll find it useful. Okay, guys, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go over to a presentation that I've prepared for you. And like I say, I'm not going to go through this in a huge amount of detail. I'm going to get through it as quickly as I can to get on to some other stuff. So we are Wealth Warriors and we are financial freedom fighters in our own lives. So we've got an image there of us generating Bitcoin from our phones. It's as easy as that these days. A lot of these platforms we're using is all done by computer, or it's more and more it's done by mobile phone. So it's nothing to do with the platforms, what we're going to do in order to make ourselves wealthy, because the companies that run these platforms don't care about us. They're only interested in us in as much as we can help them achieve their goals. So we need to take care of ourselves if we want financial freedom in our own lives. So nothing in this presentation is advice, whether it's financial or investment advice. We're not an investment platform, we're a community, but we do promote online platforms. So that's kind of how we make our money. But the focus isn't on the platforms, the focus is on the community. And if you do want to invest in any of the platforms, and I recommend you invest in all of the platforms, only use money you can comfortably afford to lose. And carry out your own due diligence. Ask me why we have a particular platform, and I will tell you what I checked to make sure that it's at least reasonable. It stands a reasonable chance of us making some money over the next short period of time. I'm not an employee or an agent of any of the companies mentioned here. None of the platforms pay me to do this presentation or to build their presentation. The only one that comes close is with eEstate. They pay me to do a talk on a Thursday evening, but that doesn't affect anything to do with me building my eEstate business. So what is the problem with online business? Well, we just can't be sure that what the thing we're getting involved with isn't a scam, because there are so many scams out there. There are also a lot of businesses out there that are so badly run, so poorly run, they go bust. It's nobody's fault. People don't know what they don't know. They'd set off with good intentions to do something. This happens in the offline world as well as the online world. People set up businesses because they've got a great idea for a business, but they don't know how to run a business. They don't know how to run a company. They haven't got the wherewithal. They don't have enough resources and so on. But they don't realize that until after they've tried to take on the world and failed. And as it's going to the wall, so they run away and take the money with them. And so we can't tell the difference really between a scam and a poorly run business. All we know is we lost money yet again. Some businesses aren't scams, but the other things happen to them. Maybe somebody dies, they no longer want to do it. Maybe an industry changes. We've seen that to a small extent with BitNex. They had fell foul of changes to European banking regulations. They had to change some things. Very often a business that disappears, it's because the regulators have issued a cease and desist order against them. In a lot of places in the world, that cease and desist order has no power. But of course, the internet being what it is, as soon as you get some bad publicity, everybody runs for the hills. And in a lot of cases, I know a lot of those businesses that were shut down by regulators were not doing anything wrong. They were perfectly legitimate businesses, but the regulators didn't like them, so they shut them down. The other thing is, it's not just about making money in online businesses. You need to do other things if you want to be financially free. So individually, we're going to repeat the mistakes of the past because we don't know any better. We only know what we know. We don't know what we don't know. And so we work together. Collectively, we're going to help most of us avoid the pitfalls of the industry. Now, when I say the pitfalls, I'm talking about somebody who cashes in their pension and puts all of that money into something because they believe in it. They believe in the hype. They've been told, this is going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. They put far more money in there than they can afford to. And that's the one that goes bust and they lose everything. Okay. We'd never do that. We'd recommend you never do that. However, that doesn't mean you're not going to lose a few $100 here and there. I don't think there's anything we can do. If we're going to do something in this industry, I don't think there's any way we can absolutely avoid that. We do the best we can, but occasionally you're going to lose a couple $100. However, the plan is to be making far more than that, so that a couple $100 doesn't hurt you. It doesn't come out of your pocket. It comes out of a fund that you built up over the period of a few weeks, months, and years. Your startup fund for your next operation has come from profits from previous enterprises. So we don't want to be using our own money for these things. And we're safer together. With safety comes time, and we want to start small and build big. Not everybody understands that principle. They want us to, they want to sort of get rich quick now. You get in, build it fast, make a lot of money. Okay. With that comes too much risk. And I don't think we want to take unnecessary risk. So why go to all the trouble of creating something on Wealth Warriors? Well, we have these 7 concrete benefits. One is you won't lose all of your money to a scammer again. Like I say, you may lose a couple of $100. We can't avoid that entirely, but we do our best. Benefit 2, you will protect your permanent network of contacts, your friends, neighbors, relatives, so you get involved in business with you. If they lose their pension fund or they remortgage their house, or they sell their car, or I've seen people sell a truck and put it into a business that then went bust. So now they've got no business, no truck. Crazy. That sort of thing. I've seen people sell their hut, but was not a hut, cabin up by the lake, put it into a business. The business goes bust. Now they've got no cabin up by the lake. That sort of thing is crazy. And if your friends do that, then they will blame you for roping them into something that subsequently failed. We don't do that. Okay, we will protect your permanent network of contacts. All you've got to do is do what we're promoting. Also, you'll build future business faster with far more profit. Typically now, when you start a new platform, you're starting that platform in square one. You have nobody in your team. Okay, you're the leader of your own group, but you've got nobody in your team. You don't know what you're doing, and you don't know where to get good advice. All those things slow you down. In future, wouldn't it be great to be able to take the network of people, the team that you built, and slot them into a brand new business, so that on day 2, you're halfway up the bonus chart in that brand new business. And also you have a team of other people you can get together and hash out, if I do this, how does that work? How do we strategize for this? What does that mean? What's the benefits of doing this as opposed to that? We can work it all out together. Okay, so you build your future business faster with far more profit. How would you like to have what you put your time and effort into building one platform, and you have 5 other platforms grow without your involvement? By and large, the people you've introduced like that business more than they like the one you're excited about. Well, if all you're doing is doing it all on your own, you haven't got time to teach everybody all about 5 different businesses. You just focus on the one that you want, and the other 5 businesses grow with or without your effort. Start small, build big over a period of time, and recoup loans, mortgages, and recent expenditure. So you've had the loans and paid them off, but that loan money now is actually classed as abandoned credit, and there's a process through which you can go get that loan money back again. So the same with mortgages, the same with money that recently left your bank accounts. And by doing all of those things, you will become free, wealthy, and live an abundant life. Without those things, you're constantly on the treadmill. Even if you're making good money online, you need to be on that treadmill if you want to keep that good money coming in. And if you're only in one platform and that's the platform that goes bust, then you're way back down, slide all the way back down from square 99 to square 1, and start all over again. Okay, it's so difficult. And in fact, challenge anyone to become free, wealthy, and live an abundant life without building a system to help them achieve that. You can't do it on your own. So the rules are, don't sign up on any of the platforms that come along. If it's a good platform, we will get to it at some point. Okay, so you might say, well, yeah, but I want to get in and then get everybody else in. That's fine, do that. But then the chance of Wealth Warriors adopting that is kind of slim, because there are just so many businesses out there that get disqualified. I disqualify a business within about 10 minutes of looking at it. It upsets a lot of people. They're cherished business that they believe in, that they think is going to be the answer to all their prayers. And I show them and I say, well, no, this is rubbish. That address doesn't exist. The pictures of the people that are meant to be your team are fake. These activities they claim to be doing, they're not doing. They have to be licensed and regulated and insured and everything else, and they're not. And so this business that you're looking at, that you pinned all your hopes on, is a scam, and then they don't like it. They don't like me telling them that. But I'm not going to lie to them. And we're not going to get involved in anything that isn't suitable for us. There are a lot of good platforms out there. It's just a case of finding them. We don't need to jump into absolutely everything. So if you want to, even if you don't get involved in Wealth Warriors to that degree, just be circumspect. Don't jump into everything. Check it all out. Okay, you'll be amazed to find how few of these platforms stand up to scrutiny. And you can you can save yourself a lot of hassle. A lot of businesses, the big businesses, big names, if I mention them, you'd think, oh, I remember that. Yeah, there were millions of people in that. I avoided pretty much most of those. I got caught by 2 or 3, but there were 10 or 12 really big names I just didn't get involved in, simply because on day one I knew that they were not legitimate businesses. Okay, so we helped people to avoid those. But if you sign up in other platforms, then you're starting that business on your own from scratch day one. And if something happens to it, you've got no protection at all. However, if you want to be part of Wealth Warriors, do sign up in all the platforms that we adopt. You may only like one. That doesn't matter. Sign up in all the other 5 anyway. Because you might introduce some people to the one that you like, and they like 1 or 2 of the other ones. But they sign up in all 5 of them anyway, and then the people they introduce may like even different platforms again. Okay, we don't limit the people that we're introducing. We don't want to limit them just to the ones that we like. If you do, it's an uphill battle, and it just makes life much more difficult than it needs to be. Do maintain lines of sponsorship. That's an important part. That's the most important thing we do when we're looking for these platforms. Do get your personally introduced people to do the same, and do support your own people by learning about all of the platforms we adopt. Now, I'm not suggesting you become an expert in any of these platforms. In fact, I suggest don't be an expert. We're looking for 2 things from all of these platforms. One is that you can get in and put some money in and generate a passive income that you can then compound one way or another. And the second thing is you want to be able to introduce some people to earn some team building bonuses and build your team that way. So that's the only things we're interested in. When they come out with this other fancy schmancy thing that they can do, or this extra service they offer, or their own Visa cards or something, we're not interested in that. We want to have a little passive income. We want to have a little team building income and grow it from there. Because we're going to be involved eventually with 8, 10, 12, who knows how many platforms, and you want all of it to be in a similar format, and you want it to be very, very simple. Buy some things that you're going to be able to compound every day, every week, every month, and build a team of people. And if we can keep the platforms that simple, there's no reason why we can't have 15 or 20 different platforms on the go as we find those platforms. If we want to get involved in all the in-depth and subtlety and nuances and take every platform to the nth degree, we can only do that with 1 or 2 platforms. And that's not really what we want to do. We want to have a large portfolio, because some of these platforms won't be around forever. So you want to get security of income. You want to be community centric. That means put all your effort into building the community, not even the people. Build the community. The people are part of the community, but make sure you maintain the integrity of the structure that we put in place. All of the things that went on the last page. Make sure people understand about the platforms. Make sure they get in all the platforms. Make sure they introduce all their people to all the platforms. Okay, be community centric, and it will benefit you. It'll benefit them. Platforms come and go, but the community is permanent. So what are the criteria for adopting a platform? The first thing is it's got to be available in the whole world. Everyone everywhere's got to be able to get involved, got to be able to get involved. So imagine you've built a team of people of, I don't know, 1,000 people, half of them are in the United States, or we built them in 5 different platforms. Now we introduce a 6th platform and it's not available to people in the United States, just for example, okay? All of the part of the team that you have in the United States can't get involved. All of those lines of sponsorship, all of those relationships are broken. And if a line of sponsorship goes into the United States, then comes out and goes somewhere else, what do you do with those other people? It's just messy. So we don't do it. And we've walked away from some very, very good businesses, and we just say, if it's not available everywhere, we can't do it. We don't want to do it. We're not going to do it. And it must have a unilevel compensation plan for similar reasons. If you start looking at binaries and things like that, it decimates a line of sponsorship. And similarly, with the finances, we want people to be able to get in for a very low entry cost, $100 or thereabouts, not $11,000. Not. I saw one a while ago, $27,500, and you would make, I forget how much it was now, but it was something silly, like 25% per year or 30% per year. It was, in fact, it may even have been a lot more than that. But we couldn't adopt that because not all of our members have $27,500. So that's the main thing we're trying to do, maintain lines of sponsorship. We also want to make sure we're dealing with things that have a real world application. I said just now about some platforms that say we're doing this and we're investing in pensions and gas and oil and space rockets and this sort of thing. There's no evidence of any of it. There's no reassurances. There's no training. There's nothing. They just say, give us your money. We'll give you back more money. It's just rubbish. We must be able to verify the company's legal status if there is a company involved. Of course, these days, the trend seems to be start something with smart contracts, and when it's all up and running on its own, you disavow the platform. So basically, the people that set it all up say, that's it, we're hands off now. This is going to run without us. We don't need to be involved, in which case there's no company. If we're looking at something like that, then we verify it a different way. Because the only way to verify something like that is if the smart contracts are doing what the smart contracts are meant to be doing, then we can kind of assume they're going to continue to do that. So it's a different way of verifying a program. If we do get involved in something where there's a CEO, we want to meet him, or the business owner, we want all our questions answered. The compensation plan must make sense and be viable and sustainable. And we must all be able to get involved. So some people don't like gambling or money lending, things like that, so we don't get involved. If there's anything ethical or morally questionable, then we just don't get involved. And again, we've walked away from some really good businesses that were bordering on gambling, and so that's it, we don't get involved. There's also some other thoughts in my head when I'm looking at a platform. For example, if it involves moving a product, not everybody is able to move a product. Okay, if it involves doing something fairly complex on a regular basis, it's tough to get everybody to do something fairly complex. That's what we want. Put some money in to have a passive income, build a team, to have a team building income. Simple as that. So we have some adopted platforms. We have the Republic of Old Souls, and the greatest thing about the Republic of Old, sorry, no, I shouldn't say the greatest thing. There's so many really, really good things about it. But the thing that gets most people's interest is the infinite money protocol, is where you recoup money that left your bank account, for example, recoup money that you paid out on mortgages or loans in the last 25 years. When you get that money in, you put it in the bank and you spend it from there, and then the following year you recoup the money that left your bank last year. When you get that money in, you put it in your bank and spend it, and then the following year you recoup the money that left your bank last year. So it's an infinite money loop where you're constantly recouping the money, spending it, and recouping it and spending it. Very, very interesting. There are some other great protocols as well, that allow you or allow us to become free and separate from the control mechanisms that are large in our world, so that we can protect our wealth going forward. BitDEX is a staking platform. But you don't stake your own money. What you do is you activate a smart contract, and the smart contract arranges for that contract then to borrow some money from the bank, and that's the money that you stake. That's the money that's making you money every day. And that's how this does so well, is because it's not your $100 that's working for you every day. It's the bank's $30,000 that's working for you every day. So that's why after 2 years, you'll walk away with over $20,000, and after 3 years, you'll walk away with over $35,000. I'm not going to tell you what the 5-year and 7-year contracts are, but they're significantly better than that. Viralio, again, I keep saying this, Viralio isn't up and running yet. It's still offline. They're still waiting for confirmation that the AI engine is going to be trading the way we want it to. So I'm not going to go into Viralio because time is short. E-estate is about tokenized real estate. Tokenized real estate has been around for about 10 years, but this is how the tokenized real estate is going to become mainstream real estate businesses. Over the years, traditional offline businesses have all been either tokenized or digitized and brought into the digital world, and particularly involved with cryptocurrency. And this is how real estate is entering the digital world of the early 21st century. And you can get involved for, you can buy a property for, or part of a property, I should say, for $117. And you can earn from that every single day for 18 months. And then you get a 10% dividend per year for the rest of the life of that property. Okay, I gave an example the other day of somebody who bought a large amount of development, in a development deal. They got their money back almost 3 times over 18 months. Then they got their investment money back again after 18 months. So they walked away with about 435% profit after 18 months. Okay, so that's pretty phenomenal. And this guy actually put in about $10,000, and so was it 10? No, it was $100,000, and walked away with $435,000 after 18 months. That's pretty impressive. And that's the sort of thing you can do with tokenized real estate. You can't really do that very easily with offline real estate. Some people do make great money in real estate businesses, but boy, is it hard work. This is a very simple thing. The guy purchased a property, took him about 2 minutes, and then walked away. And 18 months later, he had all his money. He didn't have to do anything for it. Lumex is the latest addition to our portfolio. It's the one that we're all a little bit excited about. It basically, this AI engine has, I think, six different ways of 6 different arbitrage systems. It also has a little bit of forex trading, and we can also make money from exchange fees. It's got its own built-in exchange. Spot futures arbitrage, DeFi arbitrage, triangular arbitrage, brick arbitrage. There's a few others as well. And Lumex makes money every few seconds. In the back office, you can just see it scrolling through, and you see all of the trades it's doing every few seconds. It makes money, and you make a proportion of that as your profit. So I've been involved in Lumex now for about 6 weeks. I haven't really pushed the boat out, but I'm making about $100 a day, just about $120 a day. Again, I've not pushed the boat out. I just put some money in, introduced a few friends, and that's kind of where I am. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute when we start talking about strategies. And all of the above platforms have programs for additional rewards about team building. Sorry, I thought I'd deleted this, or at least made it inaccessible. We're not talking about Zopair. We're not getting involved in that one just yet. And similarly, this one, we're not talking about Kinesis money. I do apologize, guys. So our communications, very, very important. We run a Telegram supergroup. And everything you need to know about Wealth Warriors is in that Telegram supergroup. There's a separate topic for each of the platforms we run, plus a general discussion about, we call it the open forum, plus some other information for motivation, some other information about platforms we've checked out that we think are not worth getting involved with, plus some platforms we have checked out that we think are worth getting involved with, but we're not going to. So they're good platforms, but they don't meet our criteria. So that's all available in the Telegram supergroup. We hold this Zoom call every Sunday at 10 o'clock. So attend yourself and bring new people. Make sure your people attend. It's a shortcut for you to grow your Wealth Warriors business. And what you'll find is if you come along to one of these calls like this evening and then come back next week, we're talking about something slightly differently, or maybe you've understood something differently or read something and seen a video, and then when we explain things again, it makes more sense. You understand things in a different way. So just keep coming back to the Zoom calls and it will all begin to make sense eventually. It's a concept that is so alien to people in this space that it's going to take you many repetitions before you get it all. Attend the Zoom calls of all the platforms. Where we can get hold of their Zoom schedule, we put them in the Telegram group so you can find out about them. Okay, you don't have to be an expert in them all, just understand the basics. Know how to register, make a deposit, put your money to work for you, how to find the referral link and pass it out to people and help them get registered, and then find out how to deposit and how to withdraw. So very basic level of information you need for each of the platforms. For the Republic of Old Souls, work your way through the webinars and books at your own pace, but there is the first roadmap to freedom. So work your way through that as quickly as you can. It's all free up until the point you say, yes, I want to do this. Maybe you want to recoup your bank payments. Maybe you want to recoup a mortgage. Maybe you want to set up an asset fortress trust. Then at that point, that's when you find out about how much it's going to cost and you pay for that. Okay. Until then, all the education is free. They don't do it for you, but they will provide everything you need to do it for yourself. So then you get the referral links for all the platforms from the person who invited you to this presentation. Register in all the opportunities, make a note of all your referral links, and pass those links on to your existing frontline members and people that you want to introduce. Then you make a minimum payment into all the opportunities. It might take you a few weeks to get all 5 opportunities up and running. Do it as quickly as you can. You haven't got to put a huge amount in. It's more important to get all of them up and running rather than just focus on the one you like. And if you can't do that, then select the project that interests you the most. But register in all of them, just put the money into the one you like the most, if that's all you can do. Get added to the Wealth Warriors Telegram group and attend a Zoom call or watch the video for each platform you've added to your account. Then later, when we add a new platform, make sure you get the referral link from your upline and join as quickly as possible. And I love to see it when people are phoning up their upline saying, have you registered yet? I need your link. And then they have to phone their upline and say, come on, get and register as quick as you can. I want your link. I've got people waiting for it. Okay. Because if you have a few hundred people in your team, getting that link from the top, from you down to the bottom of the team should take about 2 or 3 days. It shouldn't take 6 months. People are missing out dramatically on security and income and other opportunities if it takes more than a day or two. So once you've registered, pass your referral link onto your existing teams and then find out about that platform. So it's not a case of, excuse me, it's not a case of find out everything and then join. No, join, fund it, pass your link on to people, then find out all about it. Okay. If you do it the other way around, where everybody at every level has to understand and and just know everything about the platform before they're prepared to pass their link on, it's going to take months and months and months to pass the links down through different levels. And again, you're limiting your income, you're limiting their income, their opportunities, their security. So just take it at face value. If you don't want to do anything with it later after you've registered and pass your link out to people, don't. But there is a reason we have 5 different platforms and soon going to have more than that. Grow your Wealth Warriors community by bringing more people to the Wealth Warriors Zoom call or by sharing a video from YouTube. Make sure it's one of the videos that was made on a Sunday. I put the date on every single video I produce, so make sure it's a Sunday video, not the Wednesday video. To introduce people, to tell people the basics, it should be a Sunday video. And then you only have to promote the platforms you like, but bring people along to Wealth Warriors, and they will learn why they should sign up in all of the platforms. And build one platform and have all of them grow below you. You can get a BitNext landing page. Our upline have made this available to us. This is available in the Telegram group. So you take this link here up to where it says your BitNext wallet ID, and you swap that bit out for your actual BitNext wallet ID. Send that whole link to people, and that's your landing page. They can go there, watch a video, read some PDF documents, understand some words on the screen, and then when they press the link to join, they will join in your team. That's free of charge, provided by our upline. There's a customizable landing page in the e-estate business as well. I'm not going to go into the marketing materials. So the point is, what we're trying to do, we're trying to build a solid foundation on which we can base our financial futures. Nobody else is interested in us doing that. The only people who are is us. If you don't have a solid foundation, you can't be surprised when it all falls apart. But the people that produce these platforms, and even the big networking gurus, they're not interested in a solid foundation. They're just interested in that one platform they're focused on, make as much money as they can. And if you end up losing money, you know, yeah, they'll console you a little bit, but you've still lost your money. They don't care. Nobody cares about you except you. So we're providing the solid foundation for you to build your financial future. We do that partly by only working with companies that are in it for the long term, as best as we can determine. If we can't determine that to a large degree, if there's a little gap in our knowledge, then we mitigate that risk by managing things properly. We don't put everything in and never take anything out. We always have a strategy to leave with more than we arrived with. So that's an important part of what we do. We can never guarantee any platform, and I never would, but those platforms that fail, we should leave with more than we arrived with. And we should then leave with a little nest egg so that when we bring in another platform to get that started, we can already get started with a few $1,000s. We're not working on the bare minimum of $100. If we're constantly getting started for $100, it's hard work. We need to build up funds so that we can get started in a proper way. And the reason for that is, imagine a platform is going to be around for 18 months and you get started with $100 and you want to build it up over 18 months. You might build it up to be worth $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. But out of that, how much have you been able to take out? Not a huge amount. So if that business fails, you've lost that money, or most of it. What you've taken out isn't really making a difference in your life. Imagine though you started that business with $100,000 and it went bust after 18 months. And let's suppose you're earning 1% a day on that. So every 100 days you get $100,000 out. So after 100 days, you got your money back. 200 days, you've made 100,000 profit. 300 days, you've made 300,000 and so on. By the time it goes bust in 18 months, you've earned 500% on your money. So that's worth doing. And it happened because you weren't afraid to start with a big amount of money at the beginning. I'm not suggesting put money in you can't afford to lose. What I'm saying is let's build it up over time so that we have that money that we can use when we start a new platform. We can get things started, get things kicked off in a big way. Okay, so that's part of the strategy now. We only work with companies that are above board. If they're a little bit dodgy, if we can't prove the bona fides, then we're just not interested. They can have all the certificates in the world. If we can't find their address on Google Maps, then it probably isn't a legitimate business. Or if one of their certificates is fake, you know, the common one is the registration certificate for the registering with the British government. It's got the logo and everything else, but that company doesn't exist. That registration number doesn't exist. So if they're going to lie about that, they're going to lie about other things. So we build a large asset. So if it's contracts, we want a lot of contracts to make a large income. If it's real estate, we want a lot of real estate to deliver us a large income, etc. And only platforms that meet our rigorous criteria are even considered. We apply our rules to this industry for our outcomes. We don't want to be at the mercy of any one platform, any one company, any one upline, anyone, nothing, no industry, nothing. It's our rules because we're going to get what we want, not what other people are prepared to give us. And when these platforms do go south, you quickly realize they don't really care about us. They were all smiles to our face when we were doing something for them, but now that we've outlived our usefulness, then you can say, well, a company, this company really is there for the people. No, it's not. It's there for their own corporate goals, and we, as their sales team, probably are working to help them achieve their goals on their terms. They're not helping us achieve our goals on our terms. So the only chance you've got is Wealth Warriors. Finally, it's important to remain safe on the internet and in the world of online opportunities at all times. To remain safe, do not share your password or other credentials with anyone. Where is available, set up 2FA on your accounts. 2FA, two-factor authentication, is the only control you have over these accounts. If the platform gets hacked and they've got your username and password and you haven't set up 2FA, your account is wide open to those hackers. However, if you put 2FA on your account, then you're still in control. Back up your passwords and your 2FA codes in a secure location. Write it down. A piece of paper can't be hacked, generally. And if you've got a safe, put it in a safe. Keep it safe for sure. Make sure the executors of your will, your living will, your power of attorney, or your beneficiaries have access to this information in the event of your incapacitation or death. So get back to the person who invited you on this call or referred you to this video. They are ready and waiting to help you avoid scams, protect your permanent network, and create immense personal wealth. Now I'm going to go to, I'm going to share now a spreadsheet. Any second now, there we go. Because this is how we, this is a tool we can use now to strategize in our Lumex business. So this is Lumex. I'm not going to go through how to register, how to set up, how to deposit, that sort of thing. Is relatively easy. I've written out the directions. They're available in the Wealth Warriors group. So you can just copy and paste that or just forward it to somebody. It's been used dozens of times now. I think there's no mistakes in it, and it's relatively easy to follow. So what we're looking at on the screen here now is the 5 different contracts across the top there. You can see the pulsar, the orbitron, the vortex, the nebula, and the star core. Now, in different parts of the website, they've got different names. Like the star core is actually the stellar core contract bot. Okay, it doesn't matter as long as you use whichever name you're most comfortable with. And the contracts operate for different time frames or over different time frames. So the pulsar for 7 days, the orbitron for 30 days, the vortex for 90 days, nebula for 180 days, and the star core for 360 days. One of the differences is they earn different amounts of money. They earn different percentage rates. So the pulsar earns between 0.3 and 0.6% per day, and the orbitron between 0.6 and 0.9%, the vortex between 0.9 and 1.2, and so on. So 0.9 and 1.1, the nebula 1.1 to 1.3, and the star core 1.3 to 1.8%. So that's the heavyweight, if you like. Whatever you receive from that earning, bear in mind you only keep 80% of it. The company take 20% of it to keep the lights on, keep them all paid and happy. And we want them to do well. We want the company to survive and thrive. And I like the way they do that, rather than they give you all of the money and then when you want to withdraw it, they say, now we're going to take back $25. Because, it just doesn't feel right. It feels like they're money grabbing, whereas whatever's in your your wallet is yours. And in fact, there's a great system where as soon as you've earned $5 profit from your contract, it gets sent away from that system into your external wallet. Okay, and I've just I'm at a certain point now where part of my strategy is so I built the business to a certain level, and now my next part of my strategy is to recover my money. Well, I put 3,000 USDT in initially, and now I'm earning $120 a day. So it's just taken it's at that point now. It's just taken me 7 days to build up $1,000. So within another 2 weeks, I'll have recovered my $3,000. Then I can move into my third strategy. So I do strategies sequentially. And so my third strategy then will be about growing. So take some out and compound some and so on. But right now I'm in this phase where I'm not buying any more contracts for a while. I'm going to take back the money that I've put in. Then I've got $3,000 just sat in a little pot somewhere. If I decide to do another business in a few weeks' time, I've got that money available. Okay, if the platform does go bust and I haven't taken any more back than my 3,000, then I've got my money back. I haven't lost money. If the platform lasts 6 months, for example, and I've been taking out some profit and compounding, then I've got more money out than I started with. If the platform lasts 7 years, then I've been compounding as well as taking some money out. So I've been compounding, so my business is still growing. And I think people who take out everything, that's not a smart move, because then as a platform, every day the platform's there and grows, they're thinking I could have had more money than this. I feel like I'm missing out. But if you put everything back in and the platform goes, it doesn't matter when it goes. If you keep putting all your money back in all the time, then you're going to lose 100%. It doesn't matter what happens to that platform. The only exception to that will be is if the platform lasts for the whole of your lifetime. So that's kind of my strategies. Initially, put some money in. Don't worry about taking anything out. Just build, get to a point where now I'm earning some money so that I can withdraw my initial capital. And some of you know that within Lumex, there's a couple of compensation plans, if you like, a couple of tables. So I built it so I'm at the top of one table, which qualifies me then to be at the bottom of the other table. I'm at that 3,000 USDT in my account, qualifies me for all of those levels. So with each of the levels, there's a commitment to have a personal account of a certain size and a team account, and that's what you get. And then based on the size of that team account, that's when you qualify at different levels. So the amount on my personal account qualifies me for level 1, but I don't need to add anything to it before I get to level 2, level 3, level 4. I only need to start adding to my personal account then if I want to move on to levels 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that's why now I'm stopping at this point I'm stopping my compounding activities to take my money out. It just seems like a natural break point to me. You haven't got to do that. That's what I'm doing. So looking back at the platform here, we have a strategy period. As well as the contract duration, we have a strategy period, and I put 360 days in all of them. But the way this works, let's look at the Pulsar, for example. If we put some money into a Pulsar contract, and after 7 days it matures, we take that money and put it back in, and it matures. So it's more money every time the 7-day period ends. It's more money than it was the last time. So we keep taking out more money, put it back in, more money, put it back in. We're only ever going to have one account at a time, one contract at a time, I should say. And then at the end of the 360 days, we've just purchased a contract that's going to run for another 7 days. And so that's it. It'll actually run for 367 days. That's strategy. So it's 360 days. I'm going to be compounding, and then the 7 days of the contract duration for the last contract to pay out. So if we were to put $1,000 into that and calculate it, okay, you're going to make 200 on the first contract. Bear in mind the second contract that's going to be bigger, but on the first contract you're going to earn between 240 and 480. We're not. We're going to earn 2.4 to 4.8 USDT, and at the end of the strategy, because each of these contracts are paying out every 7 days, you're going to have almost all your money back by the end of the 360 days. You're going to have turned your $1,000 into, well, you're going to have made another $1,300 profit to between that and $2,800 profit. So realistically, you can expect to make about $2,000 profit. But you've still got a couple of contracts open, and by the end of that period of time, by the time that last contract has paid out, you're making between 1.3 and 4.5 thousand dollars. That's your profit. Okay, so that's about 137% to between 137% and 457% over the whole period of the strategy plus the contract duration. Let's have a look at what would happen with the Orbitron if we did the same thing. $1,000. We're going to make twice as much money every single day, or it's in that bracket, which means that by the end of the 360 days plus the 30 days, so by the end of 390 days, we would have made between $5,000 and $13,000. Realistically, you can expect about $8,000, I would have thought, from $1,000 in. And every 30 days, that contract pays up and you buy a new contract. Somewhere along the way, you'll probably get to the point where you have during the month, you have $100. And when you have $100, you can actually buy another contract. When you have a $100 profit, you can buy another contract. So most of these would just be one big contract, but once in a while, you'll be buying a $100 contract. Let's see what happens with the 90-day contract. Okay, now you notice here the best one for the end of the strategy is actually the 7-day one, because at the end of the strategy for the 90 days one, you're going to have some of those contracts still tied up and haven't paid out yet. With the 90-day contract, you've got even more contracts tied up. So at the end of the strategy, at the end of the 360 days, it's not a huge amount of money you've got there. But if you let all of those contracts now carry on and pay out over the next 90 days, you'll receive somewhere between 15,800 and say 16,000 and 31,000. So again, you can realistically expect about $25,000 from the Vortex. With the Nebula, the short term is even, no, slightly better, but not much, because you still have all those 80-day contracts all tied up, 180-day contracts all tied up at the end of the 360 days. But then you allow them to roll out, and you're going to receive between 42 and 85,000. So that's going to be somewhere around about 62, 63,000 on the Nebula. But it's going to have taken the 360 plus the 180. That's going to be 540 days. Okay, so we'll address that in a minute. And similarly for the Star Core, you don't get a great return for the first year because everything goes straight back into new contracts. And this is using a strategy of just putting everything back in, not taking any money out. Okay, that's not to say you have to do this. I'm just showing you this so you can see the numbers involved and you can see that this is actually worth doing. So at the end of the 2 years now, so this is 360 days for the contracts and 360 days for the strategy, then you're going to walk away with between 150,000 and 850,000. And again, somewhere in the middle would be about 450,000. Say about $500,000. If every time you get $100 in your account here, you buy another contract and just keep buying more contracts every time you get more money, then that's where you're going to end up with at the end of 2 years. Now, if you want to know what that's like, if you say, well, I don't think this platform is going to be around for 2 years, let's look at this and say, I think it's going to be around for 180 days. So 180 days is 540 days. So 18 months is 540 days, minus the 7 is 533 days. So let's clear that. So this is based on your expectation that the company is going to be around for 18 months. So doing this, every time you get $100 in your account, you buy a new contract. So at the end of 18 months, you walk away with between 2006 and 11,007. So again, round about 5 or 6,000. No, 6 or 7,000. If you use the same principle here, so you do, that's going to be 330 days. Sorry, 540 minus 30 is going to be 510, making a total of 18 months in total. You're going to walk away with 10 to 40, so that's going to be about 25,000. 90 days, 540 minus 90 is what, 60 days? And if I get any of this wrong, I apologize. I'm doing it in my head as we go. You're going to walk away with around about 55,000 USDT. This one is only going to be 180 days. No, it's not. It's going to be, that's right, we did that right, didn't we? 360. So we don't even need to calculate that. That's what we've got there. Is that right? And then this one, 360. We only think it's going to last for 18 months. So we're on another 180 days. So we clear that and calculate again. And so you're going to get between 22 and 64,000 is, and in fact, look, there you've actually lost money. If you cash in at that point, you're actually down because that money's actually in contract. So between 22 and 64, so around about 43,000. And from that, you can see that actually this is, if that's what you believe, then this is a better strategy. Using the nebula, if we think it's only going to last 18 months, if we think it's going to last 2 years, then the star core is the better strategy. If we think it's only going to last 90 days, or say, I don't know, 6 months, then the 7-day one is probably better, or the Orbitron or the Vortex is going to be better than any of the bigger ones. So it's interesting that we can strategize in that way using a spreadsheet like this. We can put any amount of money in here that we like. And if we were to put $10,000 into this one, and we think it's only going to last for 180, so we think it's only going to last for 18 months, then the 18-month period, so the 180-day period, we stop buying contracts, and then we let all of the contracts mature, and we walk away with this much money. Now, what is actually a smart move at that point, I think, is to say, well, I'm going to be making this much money. I'm not going to keep compounding diligently. I'm not going to keep putting everything back into the pot. After 180 days, I'm going to let some of these contracts mature. But then when it gets down to the point where I've only got, for example, 50,000 tied up in contracts, I'm then going to take some of my profits as these contracts mature. I'm going to take some of my profits, maintain my contract level at 50,000, okay, and take everything else out. You might say I'm going to maintain it at 100,000 and take everything out, and that then means that if the business continues for a long period of time, you're still making good money. But if it fails, you've decided you're quite happy at that point to say goodbye to 50,000 or 100,000 USDT. So that's how you strategize using a spreadsheet like this. What do the numbers mean? They mean different things depending how you want to look at it. And I think the most important thing we want to look at is how long do we think a platform is going to last. I don't mean this one specifically. I mean, we should do this similar analysis for all the platforms as we get involved with them. If we think it's going to be around for 18 months, do we think it's going to be around for a year? And so you guys can also, one of you might say, I think it'll be here for a year. So this is my strategy. Somebody else says, I think it's going to be around for 2 years. So this is my strategy. Okay, but you can only blame yourself if you misjudge it. If you start taking your money out too early and you could be making more money than you are, that's down to you, down to your decisions. But if you don't take your money out quickly enough and you lose more than you planned, again, that's down to your decision. It's nobody else's decision. You need to have the tools at your disposal. That's what I'm trying to give to you, is the tools to be able to make some of these intelligent decisions. But what we're not going to do, we are not going to say, this platform is going to be around forever. We're going to put everything we can back in. Oh dear, it's all gone. Okay, that's just crazy. We've done that. Didn't work. It'll never work. So we're not going to do that anymore. Okay, so that's how we strategize with a spreadsheet. This spreadsheet is particularly about Lumex. You've seen I've done spreadsheets before for different businesses, and it tells you a lot about the business. When I've done spreadsheet analysis before, it's taught us a lot about the company, how it works, how the system works, and so on. What we're looking at now is how can we maximize our growth? How can we get the most money back out as quickly as possible? So with that, it's now just about the hour. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to come back to the room and we will have a question and answer session if that's what you want to do. So I'm going to allow everybody to unmute themselves. If you want to, you can put your hand up, and you know how to do that on the little thing at the bottom. It's on React. Click on React, and one of the options is to put your hand up, and then we'll come and ask you to unmute yourself and come and ask your question. So Sean, you were first up.
Okay, so with Lumex, could you do? Actually, I have a two-part question. If we assume it's going to be around for a year, which I think what we talked about in the past, have you done any kind of optimization or maximizing around what contracts to buy? Like if you typed in the chat GPT and says, I have $3,000, this is going to be around for a year, these are the contracts, what should I buy and when?
I haven't done that, no.
Okay.
Have you?
What if you were to look at that calculator for 360 days only, not 18 months? What does that calculator tell you?
So okay, let's do that.
1 year, just for 1 year.
Yeah.
I think that's what our assumption was when we talked last. It's going to be around for 1 year. If it's longer, awesome.
Okay, so for 1 year, that's going to be 360 minus 7. Didn't I do this? 353. This one's going to be minus 30 is 330. That's going to be 270. That's going to be 180. That's going to be 0.
0, yeah.
So the difficult thing with this is that you won't buy another contract.
Yeah, that's why I asked if you've done any optimization. Like
I did this. I did this on a private Zoom call with somebody a few days ago.
Okay.
Well, let me show you what the results are.
Perfect.
So with this is putting $1,000 into all of them. So here, after a year, you end up with about 1.3, 3.8, about 3.8, 3,800. With this one, you end up with about 7,000. 4 to 10 difference is 6, so that's about 7,000. Yeah. With the vortex, you end up with about 7 to 13, so that's about 11,000.
Right.
Nebula is between 7 and 11, so that's about 9,000. And then the star core is between 3 and 5, so say 4,000. Because the star core, you're only buying $100 contracts every time you get $100 profit. And notice here, there's no profit at all after the strategy period, because you haven't actually you haven't done anything.
Yeah, so there's got to be a a point where it's like you buy a whatever and you buy 2,000 or 3,000 in Star Core, and then the next buy is X in Nebula, and then the next buy is
Yes.
X in Vortex.
Yeah, so what you could say is, well, let's say we think it's going to last 15 months, so we want another about 90 days in there. And then so you do that for 90 days, and then you think, well, I'm at a certain point now, so I'm going to add in another 180 days, but just on this one.
Right.
And then when I get to a certain point or by a certain date, I'm now going to do another So now we're down to 180 days. So that's 180. So let's say we're going to do 120 days in total. And then 30 days. So we're going to do another, let's do another 20 days on that. And then as you're getting close to the end of this 13-month period, sorry, 15-month period, then you'd say, well, 7 days. Now I'm going to add in another, I don't know, 40 days maybe. No, you wouldn't be more than that. Let's add 20 days on that one as well. Okay, so then you would leave with all of that.
Yeah.
So yes, you can say, I'm not going to start any more 360-day contracts because according to my understanding, my plan, the business isn't going to be around to pay any more any more 360-day contracts. So I'm going to focus on 180-day contracts.
Right.
And then after a period of time, you say, well, I'm not going to buy any more of those either because I think the platform is going to go bust by this date, but I can squeeze in a few 90-day contracts.
Yeah.
So yes, you can do that with this. It'll drive you mad, but we come and visit you.
No, I'm gonna burn some electricity in chat GPT and have it figured out for me.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, Andy.
No, you're welcome. Oh, is that Caroline? Hello, Caroline. Come and say hi.
Hi, Andy. Yes, it is.
Excellent. You always confuse me. I can't read your username properly. I'm going, is that right? Oh, it's Caroline. Okay.
For Zodiac.
Yeah.
It's a classic car.
I used to own one actually. First car I ever bought. Huge, big battle bus. Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
You and my husband would get along like a house on fire. And we've got one in the garage.
Excellent.
Okay, so anyway, the question we had is how do we learn to assess what we think opportunities' lifespans are?
So ask the question again, please.
How do we learn to assess what we think opportunities' lifespans are?
I don't think you can. It's not an exact science, but you can see really from the things the company does. What I would say is that in trading, there's an expression that I learned the hard way. It's better to be out of a trade wishing you were in than in a trade wishing you were out. And it's better to be out of a platform wishing you were in than in a platform wishing you were out. And so similarly, it's better to wind down your activity in a platform too soon than too late. So you might say, well, how do I assess this? I've absolutely no idea. Let's look at what they're setting up, how they're trying to be transparent, how they're trying to have all these seminars, all these big conventions all around the world, talk to leaders, what things are they publishing, what licenses are they getting? Are they here for the long term, the short term, or the medium term? And like I say, it's not an exact science, but if you think they're only going to be around for 18 months, then maybe plan on it for a year. And then follow a strategy like I've outlined. Build up as quickly as you can. Take your money back so you're not hurt if anything does go wrong. And then split your profits between compounding for growth and taking money back out for just put on the side to start your next platform if something goes wrong, well, when we introduce another platform. And then you might say, okay, I think my risk level is $20,000, and so stick at that. And you kick yourself because you think, oh, if I'd have just been a bit more ambitious, I'd have gone for $50,000. But then when it goes bust, you go, I'm glad I only risked $20,000. So I don't think we're talking about assessing when a company's going to go bust. Just to assess what your risk is. Assume it's going to go bust, and mitigate your risk so that if and when it does, it's you only lose exactly the amount of money you plan to lose.
Okay.
And if it lasts longer than that, well, happy days.
Yeah.
Because we're not looking at just one platform. This is where we benefit, I think, from banding together as wealth warriors. We're not just looking at one platform. We can have the best platform in the world, okay, but it's still only one platform. That makes sense? Whereas we're going to have lots of platforms. And so always make sure you've got enough money to get the next platform started when we adopt it.
Okay. Okay.
It's not it doesn't really answer your question, but it just gives you a different dimension to thinking.
Yeah. No, that's a good thing.
Excellent. Was there anything
Okay.
else while you're on the while you got the
Only
mic?
trying to get the beloved computer set up, but we will get there and we will let you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
I'm pretty,
Elon Musk has just opened up Starlink for Iran. So
pardon?
I say Elon Musk has just opened up Starlink for Iran. Maybe you can reach it from where you are.
Yeah, you never know. I, okay. I think
Okay.
that was all our questions, but yeah, I'll send you a private message.
Yeah, that's brilliant, Caroline. Good to see
Thank
you.
you. Good to see you too.
John, how you doing?
Hi, good, thanks yourself.
I'm incredible, thank you.
Ah, you're looking at.
Yeah, if it gets any better, I'll have to be two people.
Oh yeah. Right. So, just two quick questions. Did anyone reach out to you after the Thursday estate presentation you did?
Nobody reached out to me to join or anything like that. No, I got some feedback about what a brilliant presentation it was, but then I'm kind of
Okay.
used to that.
Okay. Okay. I'll get in touch with them then. Secondly, with the estate, I'm not an agent, so I'm not paying the $9 fee. So if someone signs up under me, would the commission just simply pass on to you? Is that how it would work?
I think you can't get a referral link unless you're an agent.
Oh, all right. Okay. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Okay. Is there a reason you don't want to be a? Mind you, might be a private question. Ignore that. We could talk about that privately if you want to.
Um, no, I'm just not used to paying a fee for
Yeah.
getting a referral link. That's all. It's nothing. So it's nothing important. But yeah, okay, I'll pay it then because I'm getting a lot of interest from it now. So may as well.
Yeah, good. I think estate is really taken off. It's really getting its name out there, and it
Hmm.
won't be long. We'll all be signing people up left, right, and centre in estate.
Hmm. Hmm.
Particularly, as we I think the strategy we're using with wealth warriors now is good, and so people are going to be wanting to balance up their portfolio, some of which is going to be put some money into estate.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
going to be big. It's going to be very big.
Big house.
Did you see my you saw my Thursday presentation where I compared Bitcoin with
Yeah.
estate? Yeah, yeah, that was very well received, and it really opened my eyes when I was doing that research. I thought, blimey, this is good.
Hmm. Well, no, it's true. He just holding a coin, it's sitting there doing nothing, and you're losing money if anything. It's not producing anything, or
Yeah.
you buy at the wrong time. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, well, that chap, if we put 100,000 in and
Mm.
got back over 18 months, got back 431,000, buy some more Bitcoin with that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Cool.
Mm. Okay then.
Okay, if anyone does reach out to me from your team, I will refer them back to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, guys. Any more for any more? Any other questions? Becky's asked if she can stay on with me after we close up, so we'll do that. And Sean, I think you're welcome to join us if you want to. Apart from that, guys, thank you so much for being here with me. I really appreciate it. I think that went well. I sorry if I spoke very fast, but I did get through all that material quite quickly, which I thought was pretty good. And we'll do the same again next Sunday evening, slightly different presentation, maybe go into a little bit more detail. And also, I'm still working on that series of 4 training videos. I think you're going to like them. They're almost ready to go. I'm just learning from YouTube how to do all this, you know, first videos up here, second videos up here, that sort of thing. So as soon as I've mastered that, then I'll be putting those videos out maybe in the next couple of days or so. And it'll be good. It'll be good training material for not only for you, but for the people you introduce. They want to find out what all this Wealth Warrior stuff is all about, and they can become a black belt in, you know, after watching 4 videos, basically. So that's it, guys. That's it for me. God bless. See you all. I'll be doing a presentation about the different platforms on Wednesday. So I shall look forward to seeing you then. And I'll be doing the e-estate presentation on Thursday as well. And next Sunday, of course, similar presentation to this. Meanwhile, have a wonderful, wonderful week. God bless, and I'll see you all then. Bye now.
Thank you. God bless.
I want to see you win. I want to see you absolutely smash every single dream you have. I want to see you overcome all of the barriers you face, and I want to see you succeed. I'm your biggest fan, your top supporter, and I'll be with you every single step of the way. You're destined for greatness, with or without me, and I want to see you achieve. Your potential is limitless, and your determination is inspiring. Keep striving for your goals, and I'll continue to cheer you on.